Doodle is one of Don Bluth's weirdest movies that came out in the 90s. To be truthful, this one is actually one of my favorite movies. Because when I saw this as a kid, I had no idea what I was watching. Fortunately, this is not a this will not make this review too long. This is one of the strangest films that ever existed in the 90s. The film is basically about a rooster named Chanticleer, or that every day and every morning he uses his crow to raise the sun. And not to mention let me explain the rest. Tapu, the dog, voiced by the legendary Fair Harris in his final role to be in this film. The basic story is about when Chanticleer forgot the crow because of one of Grand Duke's owls started attacking them and make the sun stop rising. And then came the rainstorm of a history. This is where the movie gets even weirder. It cuts to animation and toward live action, where it's based off a storybook. Oh yeah, Ant-Man. Some people like or dislike this character because he's a little annoying. He turns into a kitty cat because of the Grand Duke of Owls. Voiced by the legendary Christopher Plummer. Oh yeah, the owls hate the light. It's like a reference to a Gremlins movie. Right, right. Anyhow, how this film exists to entertain children. And I don't want to make this review so long, so I'm gonna cut straight to the point. And the farm animals had to find Chanticleer and turn him home before it's too late, because like, yep, him. From flooding the entire farm and devouring them. This film exists to be strange, and I actually like the song. This film has like lots of musical numbers, which I'll skip ahead, so the faster I can get to the rest of this film, the better. They tried to find Chanticleer in the city, and most of them never heard of him. They also get to like pretty much the other characters besides Ant-Man. Like this crazy Albert Hunch, Grand Duke's little nephew, that his job is to assassinate our heroes. Peeps, the know-it-all mouse. Snipes, it's the magpie bird. They're being annoying and kind of useless in part of this movie. And yeah, he becomes like Elvis impersonator, which I actually like too. They dress up as penguins to have no problem entering inside. And I also cut the part where Grand Duke of Owls explains about a few of the animals: a bird, a mouse, a cat, and a dog find Chanticleer and return him home to the farm. If you don't know who Pinky is, he's the fox. And that's Goldie. He's Chanticleer's love interest. The voices in this film are actually not half bad. Some of them can be rather annoying at times. But this film came out a long time ago in 1990, which is almost 30 years old. Edmund tried to explain to Goldie when she started to realize what she has done. And for no reason, one of the Battletoads kind of kicked the grill. Will not make his boss angry about that. Oh yeah, and Phil Harris keeps narrating the story for me. I'm doing my job here and let me explain the rest. In this part, Pinky, the evil fox, wants to make sure he keeps Chanticleer filming his stunts, and he doesn't want to lose his friends. And this random scene happens. I don't know why, but this is one of my favorite parts in Hunchkin, the worst luck of his life, tried to assassinate our heroes. You would say this is just padding the film, but that's how it is. Anyhow, Chanticleer shows up and tries to save them, but Tapu knocks him out. That's true, he's just out cold. They end up taking Pinky's vehicle, and we get this weird random scene, which happens in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I get to work to the nostalgic critic, the big lip alligator moment. Random scene that just had the movie timing. Anyhow. Oh, I guess we had there inside his mind to show it he's brave. And I gotta admit, this scene is also freaking awesome. Anyhow, they luckily land inside the airplane after climbing up a tower. And Peepers is suddenly inside the big huge blimp vehicle because why not? And to skip all this, it's as fast as possible so I can make this review like less than 12 minutes. And so they bring Chanticleer home and they forgot how to crow. And Tapu reminds him, it's time for him to crow now. And he crows as much as possible, and he does in his entire life. And I gotta admit, this scene is really awesome. He uses power of his strength of boostering and defeats the Grand Duke of Owl and make him small. Oh yeah, and Edmund got choked by the Grand Duke of Owls, which is way too creepy to show, so the movie comes to an end. And then becomes a real... And I gotta admit, this is kind of a tearjerker moment where they thought he died. When the film comes to live action and this random scene happens. It's so confusing. They just ended there just like that, and then green screen effect. And that was Doodle. What I think about it? I actually like it. It's weird, it's strange, it's not the worst Don Bluth movie I ever seen. So I don't care what Dog Walker says. I actually like this film. It's strange, it's odd. It has some good songs in it, actually. And since we got YouTube now, we can actually listen to some good soundtracks to it. Voice acting is actually pretty great. The animation is still standard fabulously done. This is pretty much one of the strangest films I had to watch in a long time. I used to watch this a few times as a kid. This is one of the strangest films to ever exist. If you like watching weird things and how films existed in the late 90s, this film will be for you, because this is the strangest one I ever had to talk about. And Don Bluth made pretty good movies back in the late 80s. The 90s, it goes downhill from here on, starting Rockadoodle. Some people love it, some people despise it. This is the strangest film that ever existed in the 90s. The characters are rather interesting or mildly annoying, including the pigs, Stewie, and Stanley. If you like watching animals having great adventures, this will be one of your favorite moments. It doesn't explain how the Duke of Owl has magical powers from his breath or anything. It just makes him like the greatest villain out there. It can be funny at most parts and one of the most interesting scenes of all time. It's just the weirdest film you'll ever lay your eyes on. So I'll probably give this movie a solid 6 out of 10. And since this film is like nearly an hour and 10 minutes being short, you might actually enjoy this. It's as much as I did. So, I'll catch you guys on the next video if I talk about something besides this weird film. Someday I'll probably talk about Thumbelina, 1994, one of my favorite Don Bluth films of all time. See ya!